Good afternoon to you all as we settle down for this press conference. And thank you so much for availing yourself on a Sunday afternoon. My name is Leranzo Temba, and it is my pleasure to be facilitating today's press conference. The Minister of Police is going to take us through his opening remarks. And then, as you know, we will take some questions from the floor and also check if there's anything online. Before we do that, please allow me to introduce everyone who is on the panel so that we all know who is going to be talking to us today. The Minister of Police is joined by his deputy, Ndate Castle Matale, and we also have the National Commissioner of the Police Service, General Fane Masemola, and we have the head of the DPCI, that's Advocate Dr. Lieutenant General Lebeya. We also do have the two DNCs, that's the Deputy National Commissioners of the Police Service. We have Deputy National Commissioner Mosikiri, who is responsible for policing. And we also have the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sibeya, on the far left. And last but not least, we have the Acting Secretary for the Secretariat for Police, and that is Ubabu Ramaru. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to ask the Minister of Police to join us for his opening remarks. Thank you, Minister.
Deputy Minister, the leadership of the South African Police Service Management, gentlemen and ladies in media, the festive season is firmly on the horizon, and as the country winds down towards the holiday season, we found it important to update the citizens on the country on law enforcement related matters. The festive season is a period largely characterized by festivities and increased migration of people within and across the borders. With just 15 days to go before Christmas Day, the Police Ministry and SAPS management would like to outright assure the nation that all hands are on deck at the police to protect citizens and their property. The holiday season is also a time where criminals sharpen and refine their operations, taking advantage of the festive mood. We too, as the country law enforcement, have and continue to upscale our responses to crime for this holiday and beyond. Through our bold efforts and our decisive policing approach to fighting crime, police operations continue to ensure that we get a grip on serious and violent crime in the country. In the coming days, the bite of the South African Police Service will be stronger as we welcome in the police service 10,000 more officers. The 2023 Project 10,000 Police Recruitment Drive is a direct response to the call from His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa to strengthen our policing capacity and enhance police visibility. The SAPS Recruitment Office successfully processed 600,000 of these applications and embarked on the rigorous recruitment drive. We are now in the second phase of enlisting 10,000 police officers who will be graduating from various police stations academics throughout the country in the coming week, to be more exact, from the 13th to the 15th next week. This means there will be 10,000 more boots on the ground come the 15th of December, when the last passing out parade takes place in Tshwane. Police trainees have been, for the past months, stationed at police academies across the country. They have been hard at work in perfecting street survival courses, firearms, law and physical training during the completion of basic police development learning program. we have no doubt the new members will provide a much-needed boost to the current policing numbers and amplify our law enforcing efforts. These officers will be deployed to sanitize the streets and increase the footprint of the police in all 9 provinces. Their deployment will be prioritized, especially in high crowd zone and areas of entertainment and leisure this holiday season. As the ministry, we have always maintained that high police visibility remains one of the most powerful arsenals for the SAPS in the prevention of crime. Over time, and with guidance, these officers will no doubt be a valuable addition to the service and build on to the capacity of the service. Operation Chanela. Members of media, the men and women in blue are doubling up efforts to tackle and squash the enemy of the crime lurking in our streets and in our communities. The safest festive season operations and unique provincially led police interventions are running concurrently with Operation Chanela. I'm sure by now you are all aware of Operation Chanela, which is proving to be a significant crime combating strategy that is increasingly yielding the desired results on the daily basis. Police in all provinces are gaining ground on crime and organized criminality, and this has been reflected in our last released crime statistics. Since its inception on the 8th May 2023, criminal individuals and syndicates are increasingly being dealt a heavy blow by the SAPS through Operation Chanela. In the past 6 months, these highly density operations have resulted in the arrest of 259,793 suspects. 259,793 suspects for various crimes across the country. The chunk of the arrest took place in the provinces of the Western Cape with 64,171 suspects, followed by Gauteng with 48,917 arrests, while SAPS in KZN arrested 37,769 in the past 6 months. We have also confiscated firearms. Over 3,200 firearms, including 2,500 handguns and 300 rifles, have been taken off the streets through Operation Chanela. More than 49,000 rounds of different variation of ammunition have also been seized by hardworking officers in blue. Over and above removing firearms that were in the wrong hands, police continue to make inroads in the tracing and returning stolen properties through Operation Chanela. Over 1,717 hijacked or stolen vehicles have been recovered from May to date. Under the theme, combating crime through decisive policing action and the robust community involvement, the SAPS National Safer Festive Season operations, which kicked off on the 13th of November, are in full swing. The Safer Season operational plan is characterized by 7 focus areas, namely GBVF, combating of serious and violent crime such as aggravated robberies, border security strengthening bylaws, road safety, and as well as illegal mining. Besides Operation Chanela, we are also further focusing on this festive season, hence you hear this. There have been some convictions on the GBVF, ladies and gentlemen. Today marks the end of 16 days of activism of no violence against women and children. GBV and femicide-related crimes remain a priority for the South African Police Service, and officers are urged to continue to improve their service to victims and survivors of this crime. However, the SAPS and Ministry remains deeply concerned on the number of women, children, and vulnerable groups who continue to lose their lives at the hands of callous criminals. Just yesterday, we attended the funeral service of 16-year-old Machaga Hadebe in Bloemfontein. Hadebe was the fourth young female to go missing in Bloemfontein in the past month. 28-year-old Kgalebohile Seramona's body was found on the 23rd of October 2023, while 23-year-old Lerato Masiu and 22-year-old Mamelo Motaung are still missing. The Provincial Commissioner of the Free State has assembled a dedicated team of detectives to investigate all these cases and has mobilized all the necessary resources and intensified all efforts to apprehend the killers and kidnappers of these young women. Investigations are supported by the national resources. It is, however, going to take all of us working together, families, law enforcement, civil society groupings, the clergy, the business community, and everyone in the country to win this fight of GBV. We are therefore calling upon everyone in this country to work with the police to help pin down the heartless criminals. When you see something, please say something. The SAPS continue to strengthen efforts to tracing and arresting perpetrators of the GBVF crimes and removing them from society by securing lengthy terms for them. Since the beginning of this financial year, ladies and gentlemen, the SAPS have secured 247 life imprisonment sentences for more than 187 accused GBVF crimes. During the same period, 193 accused were sentenced to 20 years and above imprisonment for GBVF-related crimes. A total of 57 serial rapists were sentenced to the collective 1,674 years imprisonment. We are also dealing with drugs, ladies and gentlemen. Drugs continue to destroy lives and livelihoods in our communities. It is on this score that the SAPS is tightening its responses and on several occasions has pounced on ruthless drug syndicates who are hell-bent on trafficking drugs through borders and into our shores. With the influx of narcotics into our shores, the SAPS is further enhancing its level of cooperation and information sharing on drugs and cross-border collaborations against crime. This point was further amplified during the Interpol 91st Annual General Assembly hosted in Vienna, Austria. The South African police delegation attended the AGM, consisting of senior managers of key divisions in the SAPS and was led by the Minister of Police and National Commissioner. The AGM also presented an opportunity for the delegation to meet with international counterparts to discuss further collaboration on countering international crime syndicates. At the same time, we continue to also intensify operations at our ports to end of entry to ensure that we prevent and combat the influx of illegal and unwanted persons into the country, as well as put a stop to the flow of illicit goods. The latest drug bust and arrest of those behind trafficking of persons bears testimony to this. Just this week alone, police have seized 151 million rand worth of cocaine at the Durban Harbour. This is the third major drug bust at this port. In October, police also seized 150 million rand worth of cocaine in the separate incidents. These drugs were mostly found packaged in meat boxes disguised as such. In the same week, major consignment of cocaine worth 65 million was also seized at the PEC port in Gqeberha on the 3rd of November. It must be also said that besides these combined 151, in 3 days in Durban, In Durban Airport, 80 million was found of cocaine, and in Durban Port, 70 million drugs package was found. That happened in 3 days, which means somebody is hard at work. While arrests are yet to be made, the Directorate for Priority Investigation is investigating the source and the destination of the drugs. A laboratory operating from a house producing an alcohol spirit label as Min of 1818 was dismantled in KZN eManzimtoti kwaMakhuta location. Bakhe iSmirnoff kunendlu nje lapha kwaMakhuta. Ibhaliwe ngaphandle ukuthi factory but produce iSmirnoff khona i1818. That laboratory has been dismantled. It is therefore encouraging that 13 drug laboratories were dismantled in Gauteng, Northwest and Western Cape since the start of this financial year. It is clear the SAPS intelligence operators are not sleeping on the job and are well equipped and trained to sniff out these drugs, putting them one step ahead of these international crime syndicates. Earlier this week, police also pounced on the local source of these dangerous drugs. SAPS in Gauteng uncovered a drug manufacturing lab cultivating magic mushrooms in Queenswood, Pretoria, where a 52-year-old man was arrested and will appear on Monday before the Pretoria Magistrate Court for this crime. The festive season is characterized by increased migration of people across the border and inside the country. Police remain on high alert in a bid to put a stop to the influx of illegal and unwanted persons in the country. Limpopo SAPS intercepted a minibus taxis and bakkies carrying more than 130 undocumented nationals from Zimbabwe heading to Polokwane on Thursday evening. At least 73 children between the ages of 6 months old and 17 years old age were among the occupants. Police seized the 11 minibus taxis and bakkies that were used as mode of transport for these kids. The drivers of these vehicles are among those that are arrested. So police, they are really at work and they're working together with all other law enforcement. On Wednesday, a multidisciplinary team from Kimberley intercepted a bus that was traveling from Pretoria to Cape Town with 14 undocumented children between the ages of 6 and 14 years. Police were alerted to this incident by a vigilant passenger who suspected the children were being trafficked. 2 Zimbabwean nationals were arrested and have already appeared before the Kimberley Magistrate Court on the charge of trafficking of persons. In Gauteng, 33 human trafficking victims who were found locked up in the room in Benoni were rescued in the past week. This took place when police were tracing a kidnapped foreign nationals. When the 33 men were discovered, one suspect has been arrested on this one. The SAPS has declared war on anyone or any grouping who opt to use violence for their criminal gains. We know that around the festive season, criminals will go to any length to get their hands on cash. Cash in transit ambushes tend to increase during this period. In response to these criminals' opportunistic acts, SAPS has established teams in each province to prevent and combat cash in transit robberies. It must be noted that in recent months and weeks, our members have done exceptionally well in terms of intercepting these criminals at addresses utilized by these gangs as safe houses before the robberies would unfold. In our most recent success, members of the DPCI intercepted a syndicate of 6 criminals who followed victims from the bank and robbed them of their cash. The syndicate was operating in Gauteng and Mpumalanga and Limpopo. These syndicates, they get information from whoever to say so and so has withdrawn such amount of money. And they wait outside and pounce to those people that have just withdrawn the money. So it's a new modus operandi of these criminals, especially from these three mentioned provinces. We are seeing an emerging trend of women who are increasingly found operating in criminal groups involved in serious violent crime. We want to emphasize this point. That is almost 4 incidents now. When these criminals are found, you find that they are operating with females, with women among themselves. They are trying to make life easy by fooling the police that these are ordinary, jolly people driving around for whatever. But we have established this trend, and we are working and we are pouncing on them. During this criminal takedowns operation, police are often met with dangerous criminals armed with high-caliber firearms. Our members are left with no choice but to defend themselves and the community they serve. Over 62 hardened criminals were killed during shootout with police in the past 6 months. It goes without saying that when criminals confront police, we will respond accordingly. Regrettably, we have lost some of our own during these shootouts, and may their soul rest in peace. Police are going to toe-to-toe with criminals, and police are coming out victorious. In the last 8 months, police have arrested more than 75 CIT suspects. Prince Mdluli, Dr. Mbuyani, Kako Matimane, and Vicky Tabela, and Justin Gama are some of those behind the bars. These are top ones. There are many others, 75, but these are top ones. Abu Prince Mdluli, and one guy called Boy Boy. The arrests were made during the false CIT attempts, during the commission of these crimes, and during targeted tracing operations. Fellow South Africans, this government is not backing down in the fight against those who want to destabilize the country's energy supply. The Ned Jones Energy Safety and Security Work Stream that was established to tackle crime and corruption-related matters hampering the mandate of Eskom also continues to register commendable progress. The work stream activities has led to the significant successes, but more importantly, has impacted positively on the load shedding that can be attributed to the theft and provision of the substandard coal and the tampering of critical infrastructure. Among the successes achieved by the work stream include the arrest of 207 suspects from April this year and the closure of 63 unregulated coal mines. Mining equipment worth 180 million as well as 12 million worth of coal has been seized. 2 key preservation orders were secured amounting to 198 million and 1.5 billion respectively. In October 2023, a massive intergovernmental search and seizure operation led by this priority committee was conducted in 5 provinces. The target was a sophisticated criminal syndicate of alleged coal smugglers who played a major role in exacerbating the energy crisis and load shedding. SARS was the lead agency in this operation, and the targets included former Eskom employees who facilitated procurement fraud, as well as individuals involved in the diversion of high-grade coal. This syndicate, which consists of local and foreign nationals, was found to be non-compliant with the Tax Act. The syndicate was found to have caused 500 million of revenue loss, the fiscus for non-registration for income, failure to submit tax returns, under declaration of income, and making false submission to SARS. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue dealing with illegal mining. The administration has also taken a tough stance and continue to take tough action on the illegal mining. Through net joints, we continue to descend on illegal mining hotspots in 6 provinces. A number of illegal mining equipment continue to be confiscated, such as generators, digging tools, and even firearms. In the past year, over 4,000 illegal mining suspects have been arrested. In our latest major takedown 9 days ago, on the 1st of December, 117 illegal miners were arrested in Primrose, Gauteng. All these illegal miners are still in police custody and their equipment was seized. On the same day, in the northwest, 13 illegal miners were arrested by the multidisciplinary operation at a disused gold mine in Klerksdorp. In another operation in Sabie, in Mpumalanga, police have this week arrested 11 undocumented nationals believed to be involved in illegal mining operations. All 11 will appear before the Sub-Magistrate Court on Monday for being in the country legally and for their role in the illegal mining activities. Police operations don't end on the low-level role players in the mining value chain. The DPCI arrested 3 suspects in Paris exchanging gold for cash between Free State and Gauteng. In their same operations, 9 nuggets of gold worth 3 million rand and 4.5 million cash, as well as 4 vehicles were also seized. Our National Task Team, assigned to clamp down on the counterfeit goods, continue to confiscate illicit goods that are costing the country billions in lost revenue. This week, a 53-year-old shop owner in Pretoria was arrested after he found to be selling expired goods and health products. A number of operations have been held between Western Cape, Gauteng, and Eastern Cape, where goods worth 389 million rand were seized from July to date. 1.2 million in cash and 30 vehicles were also seized in these operations. In one major operation in the Eastern Cape, a Somali national was arrested and counterfeit products, including medication to the value of 14 million, were seized in Kenaville. In Gauteng, in the Johannesburg CBD, 40 illegal nationals were arrested and 5 million worth of counterfeit goods were seized. In the Pretoria CBD, commonly known as Marabastad, counterfeit worth 13.7 million was seized, and the Western Cape, more than 75 million worth of counterfeit goods were seized. In November, police also intercepted a truck loaded with illicit cigarettes worth 22 million in Western Cape. 2 suspects were arrested at the scene. In the Northern Cape, a storage container facility was raided and 10 million worth of illicit cigarettes were also seized. Members of the media, these are just some of the highlights of recent successes that have been recorded in recent weeks. The breakthroughs are as a result of sharpened intelligence, broader collaboration with sister departments, state-owned enterprise, and the SAPS teaming up and working closely with private security companies and the broader community. Tackling crime head-on can never be a solo mission, and we value the working relationships that are each day producing fruitful. The National Task Team responsible for investigating and arresting those responsible for murder and attempted murder case at the University of Fort Hare continue to these efforts. The team has effected 10 arrests, including former and current serving employees of the university from April. The team cannot rule out the possibility of further arresting. We simply say to the nation, we'll be better equipped, we'll be on the ground. Come the 15th, 10,000 new members of the South African Police will saturate, sanitize, and make sure that they take over the streets of the Republic of South Africa. Therefore, we are calling on South Africans to go out there, enjoy themselves. We'll make sure that all of us will work with them to make sure that South Africa is safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the Minister of Police for that very thorough read-through around some of the successes of the SAPS, but also around the plans that have been put in place to safeguard the festive season and beyond. So with that, I'll open up the floor to some questions. As you know, colleagues, just identify yourself, the media house that you represent, and also who you're directing your question to. As I have mentioned, that the Minister of Police and the Deputy Minister of Police are supported by the management of the SAPS. So with a show of hands, please, can you just let me know? And also just checking with our GCIS colleagues if there's any questions, as well as our SAPS platforms, if there are any questions that have been sent through.
Thanks, Lorenzo. At the moment, we don't have questions from online platforms. Thanks.
All right, super. Brigadier Martin? Okay, in Pretoria? Going once? Going twice? And I believe that is it, Minister, Deputy Minister, Generals, Mr. Ramaro. Thank you so much for your time. And of course to you, members of the media, thank you for availing yourself and telling our stories. Thank you. Thanks, colleagues. Oh yes, and the speech has been sent through as well. So if you don't have a copy, just let us know.